All right, welcome back. It's Taylor Rick, another one of our Echoes of New Eden shorts. It's been a little while. It's been a long time for a short. Anyway, hope you liked the new intro. Took a little time and made sure that it popped. It sounds good. Anyway, let me know if you like it. So, real quick, we're going to be talking about sustainability. I know in the title card anyway, the cover card for this video, it talks about why you should be flying a ship. If we've all been seeing certain content creators putting out content over the last few weeks, you know where that reference is coming from. But in reality, it was meant to be that exact thing. Why you should be flying a ship, how you should be flying your ships, and how you can have sustainability to make sure that you're still flying. It's not enough to just go and make some money, get into a cool ship, go ratting, make some more money, right? Because you're going to die at some point. Everything always boils down to PvP. No matter what you do, even if you're an indie pilot and you rarely undock, that one time you're going to undock and someone's going to be there, or you're going to be in a belt, or you're going to be hauling, and someone's going to take you out. So you always have to be planning for sustainability. That's a thing that most pilots in this game, most players of this game, don't do, is plan. They just play, because after all, it is a game. But if you really want to get smart about it, and you want to make sure that you always have a ship to fly and that you can always make some money, then you need to be concerned with sustainability. And so a couple of key points here. We're going to be talking about making ISK. We're going to be talking about using modules correctly. We're going to be talking about scrapping and how you can make some additional income that way to also maintain stability, basic riding pace and practices, and industrial. Indie can pay too. It's just eventually. That's a very long slog as we kind of look through some of the things here. And I always just have the market tree pulled up because it's the easiest thing to look at while I'm talking. So, but in terms of making ISK, when you first start in the game, I've talked about this before. There's a whole bunch of different things you can get into, but your basic frigates, right? Stealing PI is easy and quick. Getting into some of these tier 3, tier 4 ships are easy and quick. The Imicus comes to mind as being one of the better of all of those just because of the cargo capacity. But then again, these are all great looting ships, even though most people don't think about it. But an Executioner 2 for $500,000 is a great ship to use for looting with all the other players or guys in your corp that are going to be ratting. And you can get the ticks as well as the loot. And you want to save that loot and use it. And by that, I don't mean scrap it. Because when you first start this game, you're not going to have the money or the skill time into scrapping to make it worth it. Although we'll get into that here in just a few minutes. What I mean by saving it is, let's just go and look at lasers here for a minute and all the different kinds of lasers we have, right? So if we're just talking about an Executioner 2, because I like to fly frigates, I like to fly Executioners. There is absolutely nothing wrong with you fitting a Mark III pulse laser for 750 ISK. If you can't fit a if you're brand new, you're not going to fit a pulse laser. You're going to fit a beam, right? Because you're not going to have the range. Look at how cheap that sucker is. 2,000 ISK. If you have finished the tutorials, which you should as a new player, and even if you're an old player and haven't finished the tutorials, you probably should. There's a few decent ones in there that drop some chips, and if you've already got the skills for it, then you get free SP. So there you go. Nice little tip for you. Go back. It's changed. Almost 2 years into it, they've changed that tutorial up quite a bit. There is nothing wrong with you flying a Mark III small beam laser. All right, it's $2,650, and you can buy 10 of them. And your little Executioner is going to fit, 2 in the high slots? Maybe 3? I forget. I have to go back and look at it if it's 2 or 3. Doesn't matter. You can buy 10 of them right now for next to nothing and have enough to constantly replace your ship. This is what I mean by sustainability. If you die in something, how quickly can you replace it? And really, the reality is you should have a spare already sitting in your hangar. I don't care if you've got the IP. I don't care if you got the gift IP, the free IP, to be able to go and get it back instantly because you're in an ANOM and you made a mistake. Okay, great, that's fine. But eventually you'll run out of that IP because you're not buying it, right? Or you're just thinking it's going to stack up. You get a ton of IP going through the tutorials and going through Concord passes and going through all this other stuff. But you need to have spares. You need to have backups. When you get into PvP, you got 12 hours and now you can't play and you're going to walk away from the game. And that's fine. Every once in a while, another way to be sustainable is to walk the fuck away and not lose your shit. pace yourself. You don't have to rat for 8 hours straight, right? So anyway, if you look at a Mark III, 15 DPS, that's nothing. I mean, you're not going to be doing much, but you can be helpful. You can loot. Accuracy, let's see, where's the main thing here? Yeah, 15, and then of course you've got a good tracking speed, but optimal range 11 kilometers, right? Well, conversely, let's go up and look at the C-types. I know the C-types are cheap, but that's, to me that's cheap, but that's also 14 million. What do you get for that? 10 more DPS. No way in hell should you fit that onto a Tech 4 Executioner 2. That's just silly. You fit this onto a ship. You spend that 14 million when you can afford to buy 6, 10, and have them sitting there. And whatever ship you're flying in, an Executioner, Interceptor 2, or whatever, or just a regular Scepter, or even a Succubus, right? If you can afford to have a couple of those, or have a spare one sitting in stock for when you die, if you can afford that, then you're okay. Up until then, there's no sense in spending 14 million to get that extra DPS, because you're likely in a ship you're going to die in anyway. Go back and look at the mace. Okay, buy the maces, 70,000. Whoop-de-friggin' do. And if you can't afford that over a Mark 5, let's say, 8,000. I mean, it's 17.44 on the DPS versus 21.4. That DPS difference isn't going to save you. It's not. You can think it does. It doesn't. It doesn't help you. It's not going to save you. That difference doesn't mean anything. So $70,000 versus $8,000. You could buy all 14 of those right there for the same price, almost as one set of the others. And this is true with railguns. This is true with cannons. This is true with, don't buy decomposers. This is true with missiles. This is true with all of this stuff. And when you get into the mid slots and you start looking at electronic warfare, and you start looking at stasis webifiers, if you've got the money, sure, buy interruptive. That's what I usually buy. That's what I buy on everything. I can afford to buy whatever I want, but that's what I buy. Why? Because I can buy 20 of them at a time for 133,000 a piece and not care. Whereas a Mark 9, 70,000. Well, okay, it's 108. What's the difference between these two? This is where you need to be thinking about this with using cheap modules. A Mark 9 stasis webifier, meta level 4. If you're Mark 9 already, then just get the interruptives. It's 12.4 on the range, negative 56. Look at the interruptive. Come on. Negative 57, 13 kilometers. The difference isn't going to save you. Look at a Mark III stasis webifier for 29,000. Negative 47, that's still cutting their speed in half, but your optimal range is 10.6. Now that might be a problem. 13 kilometers is already an issue. All right? If you can afford to fly an Ashimu, then you're not going to be buying Mark IIIs. But if you're flying something else, a destroyer, your Tech 6 guy with maybe a Vexor, whatever, buy the freaking cheap modules and buy a shit ton of them so you have replacements. Make it to where you can fly again as quickly as possible. It's like this all the way down. Nosferatus as well. What's a small Nos going to do? You shouldn't buy any of this. Until you can fit a medium or a large, none of that's going to matter. So don't be afraid to just go put on cheap modules, especially if you're using a DCU. You start looking at the differences between all these DCUs. Look at a Mark V DCU, 160,000. It's about 7%, right? But look how short that is, 13 seconds. So you can go and buy a basic for 5 times as much money, 10 times as much money. It's only an extra percentage point, and it's still 13 seconds. You go to the all-around that everybody wants you to have, 20 million, holy shit. It's 8, right? And by the time you're trying to hit this sucker and get out, and obviously the 8s are just the static, it's this 800%, right? But go back and look at the other one, Mark 7. 800%. It's the same damn thing. If you're hitting that, that's the oh shit button. I got to get out. Don't waste your money on an all-around damage control until you can afford to buy a ton of them and have them sitting in your inventory, right? Just go with the Mark 5s, Mark 7s, whatever. It doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. It's a good way to keep yourself flying. Now let's talk about another good way to keep yourself flying. One way you might not think about. Everybody does Concorde. You should be doing Concorde. You don't have to pay for it. Do the free version if you want to. But, if you got the money to pay for it, pay for it. Or pay for it. I guess you can't really pay for that in-game. It's all R, so whatever. But when you're doing Concord passes, you get a box every once in a while with nanocores. I've probably got like 6 of these executioner breeze cores. Sure, you could try and sell it for $8 million, but don't do that. If you have the scrapping skills, you can scrap these. And what do you get when you scrap these? You get cylinders and chips. If you don't know what I mean by cylinders and chips, then let's go down and look at the cylinders and chips. Where are they? Manufacturing materials, nanocore materials, cylinders and chips. And look at how much these things go for. $1 million a pop. So one of those cores, go back and scrap it, and you're going to get a little bit more out of it, actually, than you do by just selling it directly. You'll get a certain number of chips and cylinders. Have somebody that's in your, just these regular cylinders up here, like these, not the databank ones, but these. I don't think I've ever seen the databank ones like these drop before. No, I have to rack my brain. Maybe I have. But anyway, chips and cylinders. Scrap those free blue, or not. I think they're always green. Those free green cores that you get when you run a Concord pass and get a box. Just scrap them. Have one of your scrapping buddies do it. Give those back to you and go sell those. You'll make a lot more money. That's another way to be sustainable. That's free money that Concord is, the game, the developers are giving you every week. Every week there's a box, I think, almost always in the Concord pass somewhere if you've ran it. And there's 2 other ways on that Concord pass to make sure you're getting the SP for free, the Lazarus units for free, as quickly as possible. Three ways to make quick money, or make quick terms of those points, even though it's all the way up to $17.50 now per week. Number 1, you could just have it set to be logged in, the 13 and the 30 minutes. If it's on an emulator and you just leave the thing up and running in a week, just those 2 all by themselves is going to fill that pass for the week, all 1,750 points. Just leave it going 24/7, and you're good. The other thing is the reverse engineering trick. Come in here and get the materials that you need to do simple reverse engineering for simple, Condor interceptors, or just do these, the Bantams, the Griffins, or whatever. Just something simple, cheap. Run off a whole bunch of blueprints in about 45 minutes, and you've made your Concord points for the week. And that'll get you those, at least 1 or 2 of those green cores that you can go and scrap, and there you go. You've made some money back. It's an easy money maker on being able to afford that, because it's only like 15 to 20 million worth of stuff, and you'll make your money back that way too. So now it's not costing you anything to use the reverse engineering trick to run off your Concord points for the week. Again, this is all about sustainability. If you want to grind that, grind it. If you don't, you don't. And then let's talk about basic ratting practices. There's absolutely nothing wrong with you leeching off your buddies in your corp as you're trying to make money. The thing that you can't do is to say, can I come out there and sit in my pod because I don't have a ship? Like, that's just poor planning on your part, and I don't reward my guys for poor planning. I reward my guys for planning ahead. At the very least, a simple Tech 4 frigate will work perfectly for looting. So if they want to do that because they've got one of those spares, or maybe they've made some of these blueprints, when they've been banking up for their Concord points, and now they can just go build one of these ships real quick, or I'll just hand those out. That's whatever. There's no excuse. You should be able to help in some way, shape, or form in the ratting to be able to bank up some more money that way too, even if you're down and lost a ship and didn't have a replacement. But again, that's kind of my advice. Sustainability means replacement. Replacement means you're ready for the loss. Being ready for the loss means you're flying smart. Flying smart means you're not wasting money on modules you don't need to waste your money on. So that's my quick thoughts for the week on sustainability. I hope you guys are all having a good time with the game. Lots of quality updates have happened all year this year. It's been a blast. We just had this latest one that dropped today, where we're going to see Tech 4 rigs. I'm very excited about that. I can't wait going in and seeing what these Tech 4 rigs are going to do. I don't think they said anything about Capital 2 rigs like these coming out, but I want this. I want this really bad. 15% over, what is it now, 10? 12 and a half. Yeah, I'll take that. So, but for sure, these are coming, whether it's a drone scoop or whatever else. I don't think anybody's going to want the drone scoop, but definitely the control range is going to be nice, going out to 20 kilometers versus, 15? Yep. So That's a huge increase because there's no penalty for stacking those. So that is a gigantic increase. Now we're going to be able to see guys in Dominic's is ratting out to 150 probably, or maybe longer. I forget where my longest Dominic's 2 range was. But good times are coming. All kinds of quality of life things are coming up. If you have any questions or things you want me to cover in these shorts, please let me know. Leave something in the comments. Coming next month, we're going to start giving away at least 1, maybe 2 Duo Omega every single month. I don't know if I'll have 2 to give away per week or 2 to give away per month. I don't know what I forget what that breakdown is, but that is coming. We'll all be giving away Duo Omegas on these shorts. So make sure you subscribe, tell everybody about it, spread it around a little bit. And then, of course, come to the main show, Echoes of New Eden, on Thursday nights with Rambo, Krymsonkyng, and myself. And we'll have a good time. That's, of course, live over on Discord, as always. So you can be part of the show. We've got a voicemail you can call in, leave a message there as well, and Rambo will play those on the air. That's it for this Echoes of New Eden short on sustainability. I'll catch you guys around. Later.